Somewhere in your dog's daily routine, without a single command from you, they've quietly taken on a set of unassigned jobs, watching where your attention goes, guarding the doorway when someone unfamiliar arrives, listening for things you haven't noticed yet. You won't find any of it on a training checklist. Your dog invented all of it on their own. Welcome to Dog Mind. If you're new here, subscribe right now, because today we're covering 5 of those unassigned jobs, the ones your dog performs constantly and you've probably never once thanked them for. Let's start with the one that happens every time something catches your attention. 1. Why does your dog immediately look wherever you're looking? At a squirrel outside? A sound down the hallway? Before they've even figured out what caught your attention? Dogs are unusually good at this compared to almost anything else in the animal world. Researchers who study canine cognition, including Brian Hare at Duke and Adam Miklosi's team in Hungary, have found that dogs read human gaze and pointing gestures with an accuracy that even chimpanzees, our closest living relatives, generally fail to match. Wolves raised by humans from birth, given the exact same exposure to people, still don't pick it up nearly as well. Something about domestication specifically selected for dogs to treat where you're looking as meaningful information about the world, worth checking every time. That's a skill that evolved specifically because living with humans rewarded it, not leftover wolf instinct. When your dog follows your gaze, they're trusting your attention as a reliable guide to what matters right now. More reliable, warm, in that instant, than their own senses. Next time you want your dog to notice something across the room, skip the pointing and just look at it steadily. Most dogs will find it faster than you'd expect. Researchers test this ability with what's called an object choice task, hiding food under one of 2 identical cups and giving no clue except a glance or a point toward the right one. Dogs solve it reliably, often on the first few tries. Wolves and chimpanzees, tested the exact same way. Plainly don't. 2. Why does your dog sometimes step between you and a stranger, or plant themselves at the doorway the second someone unfamiliar walks in, without you ever teaching them to? There's a real difference between a dog doing this out of fear and a dog doing it out of confidence, and the two look almost nothing alike once you know what to check. A frightened dog blocking a doorway holds their weight low and back, ill-tucked, ready to retreat. A dog guarding out of attachment stands square, weight forward, alert but loose through the shoulders, watching the stranger rather than watching for an exit. Watch how quickly they release the position once the stranger turns out to be harmless. A dog acting from confidence relaxes within seconds. A dog acting from fear often can't, even after the danger has clearly passed. That second version is a dog who has quietly decided, somewhere along the way, that protecting you is part of the job. Nobody trained it in. It comes from the same cooperative instinct that let wolves hunt in coordinated groups, redirected entirely toward one person instead of a pack. If your dog does this calmly and confidently, let them hold the position for a few seconds before calling them off. You're not encouraging aggression. You're acknowledging a role they've already assigned themselves. Herding and guardian breeds tend to show this more visibly than breeds developed purely for companionship, though the underlying instinct turns up across nearly every breed in some form, just at different volume. 3. Why does your dog rest their chin specifically on your foot while you're sitting together, not the cushion beside it, the actual foot, and stay there without moving for 20 minutes at a stretch? A dog's muzzle carries a dense cluster of nerve endings built to detect vibration and the smallest shifts in pressure, the same equipment that lets them feel a mouse moving under snow. Resting their chin on you turns that sensitivity toward a different target, you. Every small shift of your weight, every change in your breathing, every tiny movement runs straight through their jaw and into whatever part of their brain is quietly keeping tabs on you. It's a low-effort, high-information way of monitoring someone without needing to watch them. This is the same sensory system doing quiet work in their whiskers, which aren't just decorative hairs but pressure sensors wired directly into the brain. The chin carries a lighter version of that same network, dense enough to register the rise and fall of your breathing without you ever feeling their weight change. You've probably felt your dog's chin get suddenly heavier right as you started to relax, or lift the moment you tensed up before you even noticed you had. That's a sensor doing exactly what it was built to do. Or, why does your dog's head snap up? ears rotating like tiny satellite dishes, locked onto something you can't hear at all. Several seconds before you notice anything, dogs hear frequencies up to roughly 45,000 hertz. Human hearing tops out around 20,000 and drops well below that for most adults. On top of that range difference, somewhere around 18 separate muscles control a dog's outer ear, letting each ear rotate independently to triangulate a sound's exact direction the way you'd swivel a satellite dish. By the time you hear a car 2 streets over, your dog has already located it, decided it isn't a threat, points, and moved on. Most of what triggers that head snap is exactly that boring. A delivery truck, a neighbor's door, wind against a fence. The alert is a far more sensitive early warning system doing routine work you happen to be a few seconds behind on. Nothing dramatic about it. There's a way to tell a routine alert from one worth taking seriously. A quick head turn, ears forward, then a return to whatever they were doing a moment later, is the boring, constant version. Prolonged staring at one spot, a stiff body, or a low growl underneath it means something has actually registered as worth watching, and it's worth getting up to check yourself. 5. Why does your puppy suddenly spin in tight circles chasing their own tail like they've never seen anything so interesting in their life? In young dogs, this is almost always harmless self-discovery. Puppies are still learning where their own body ends, and a tail moving in the corner of their vision can trigger the exact same instinct that would fire for a small animal darting past. Chasing it teaches them, through trial and error, that the thing at the end of that spin is attached to them. Most puppies grow out of the habit entirely within a few months, as their body awareness catches up, though breeds with naturally higher prey drive, terriers and herding dogs especially, tend to chase their tails more often early on simply because the instinct that notices small, fast movement runs hotter in them to begin with. In an adult dog, the same behavior reads differently. Occasional tail chasing during an especially excited moment is still nothing to worry about. Frequent, repetitive spinning that's hard to interrupt, especially if it shows up alongside licking or biting at the tail itself, is worth a vet visit. It can point to anal gland discomfort, skin irritation, or in rarer cases, a compulsive pattern that benefits from real treatment, not just being told no. Your dog is running 5 separate check-ins on you at once, and none of them show up on any leash or collar. One tracks where your eyes go. One watches the door for you. One reads your body through a few square inches of jaw. One listens for the world before you're aware there's anything to listen for. And one, still learning the shape of their own body, is simply figuring out how to exist inside it. None of it was trained. All of it is running quietly, all the time, whether you notice or not, which is exactly why most owners never do. Add it up, and what looks like a handful of odd little habits turns out to be a full, unpaid shift your dog has taken on without ever being asked, built entirely around keeping track of you. If this changed the way you'll watch your dog tonight, share it with someone whose dog runs at least one of these 5 without them ever noticing. Subscribe to Canine Mind, because every week we translate one more piece of the language your dog has been speaking to you since the day you brought them home.